What's up, NASCAR Authentics fans? David Land here, and just in time for the Daytona 500, we've got Wave 3 of the Lionel NASCAR Authentics line for 2016. This is weird as somebody who collected the Spin Masters for, pretty much the entire run. It's weird to walk into a Target store, that's where I got these, $5.99, you guys know the drill at this point. But it's weird to walk in there and look at the shelf and go, oh, look at that, that's the whole wave. Right when they're starting to show up in other people's Instagram posts and Twitter, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for the social media interaction, by the way. It's really, really great. But it's right here, it's in front of us, let's review it. So, I'd like you guys to comment down below. Let me know who you think is going to win the Daytona 500. I think it'll be an interesting discussion, and if you get it right, maybe I'll give you a shout out. I don't know. Yeah. So let me know down there. While you're down there, hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. You guys know the drill. You guys know how to do that. That's awesome. So let's get to it. We got a couple throwbacks, a couple cars that weren't even available through the Diecast dealer line of NASCAR Diecast from Lionel, and another Dale Jr. car. So let's hit it. This is David Land on YouTube. So the first car we're going to take a look at here is the Challenger 16 Dale Earnhardt Jr. Nationwide Chevrolet. I'm not sure if this is an exclusive to this line or not. I can't remember if they actually produced this car. I would assume they did because it's a chase car and it's Dale Jr. in the local Diecast dealer version. There's the back of the card. It's all the same for all of these. So let's take it out of its box and take a look at it. It's actually not the first Dale Jr. Nationwide car we've gotten either in the NASCAR Authentics line from Lionel. It's actually the second. So for those keeping score at home, and we'll probably compare the two of them. Also, you get a lovely magnet. So let's take a closer look at the Dale Jr. Challenger 16. So here it is out of its box, the Challenger 16 Dale Jr. chase car. I have to say I do like this car with the yellow flashes on it. I think it complements the blue and white scheme. Kind of gives you that San Diego Chargers vibe to it, which is always a good thing because that's one of the best color schemes in the NFL if I'm reviewing NFL paint schemes. But yeah, just your standard Dale Jr. as I knock stuff over as I move the diecast around. Yeah, standard Dale Jr. Nationwide scheme. Not a whole lot to write home about on this. But again, I'm interested. Let me know in the comments, did they release this specifically in the local diecast dealer segment of Lionel's NASCAR offerings? Because they release so many special edition of Dale Jr. cars, it kind of all muddies together after a while, and I can't remember what they've released and what they haven't released. So let's take a look quickly at the magnet you get. Pretty standard stuff, not a whole lot to write home about. You get the photo of Dale there, his signature, and all this good stuff, yeah. And it's a magnet on the back. We have gotten another car in the NASCAR Authentics line that was already a Nationwide 88, and I'll show you that. It was a Talladega winner. May Talladega winner, I should be specific. But yeah, it's not raced or anything. It's just got the yellow flashes. But again, if we end up getting all the chase contenders, which would be pretty interesting, honestly, if we got all 16 of them, it would make a nice little set. But if we're just going to get one or two chase cars, I'm not really sure why they're doing this. I would have rather gotten a 2016 scheme in the mix, but that's just my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. Oh, that is something interesting. We have got a couple race winner stickers up there. So that's worth mentioning, and two on the other side as well. So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, let's take a closer look at the chase sticker there, if it will focus. I think we're focused in. I think it just says chase for the Sprint Cup. Again, I'm looking through a viewfinder here, so I don't know if it's exactly that. That's definitely a Challenger 16 logo. I'm pretty sure there's a little paint chip there. That's kind of keeping me from taking a better look at that. But yeah, it's cool to get the accurate windshield banner in a retail line. You guys remember, whoa, out of focus. You guys certainly remember from the Spin Master days that they didn't always get that right. So here is the other nationwide 88 we've gotten from the Lionel NASCAR Authentics. You guys remember this? It was the raced version. And some people were actually complaining in the comments section, and I actually agreed with them about the fact that they put the confetti on the raced versions. I think the exact comment was, I wish I remembered who said this, but the exact comment was, I don't remember any time where they have confetti on them when they're racing, and I completely agree. Actually, that's something I'll bring up later on. I'm not really sure why they put the confetti on the cars, but whatever. So that's your Chase Dale Jr. Let's move on to the next car in the wave. So the first time in the line, we've gotten a Kasey Kahne car, and I would definitely say that they picked a good starting point. Although I would have preferred a 2016 car, we got the 2015 Aquafina car. This ran at Pocono, and ironically, it's not the only Pocono car we got in this wave. So I guess you could call this the Pocono wave. But yeah, a really cool scheme. Can't wait to look at this. So let's go. So yeah, this is a magnet, and then we've got Zakala. So let's take a closer look at the Aquafina Chevy. So here is the Aquafina car out of its box. I definitely say that it's looking better than it did at Pocono. I believe it crashed at the race at Pocono. In fact, he spun all the way into the pit lane. It was a fairly dangerous looking accident. Lucky that nobody was injured and everybody got out of it all right. But yeah, beautiful paint scheme. Actually really, really creative. I really love me some blue cars, blue and white cars. I think that's one of the better color schemes out there. I think it really works well in this car. And definitely Lionel did a great job of representing this car in die-cast form, even though I do believe they released it in their local die-cast dealer line. That being said, I still think it's a worthy addition to the line. Kasey Kahne die-cast usually sell. He's a fairly popular driver, and it's cool to get some variety in terms of the paint schemes. Especially with a car like this. So yeah, rather than them like releasing just the regular 2015 farmer's car or whatever, the one that we've gotten 100 times before, it was nice that they did something a little different. So let's take a quick look at the little magnet you get. They are going magnet crazy. I would have actually probably preferred a hood for this one. Especially because Kasey Kahne's just looking like a 90s like rapper for some reason in this photo, but you know, whatever. If you're an Aquafina fan or you're a fan of Kasey Kahne, you're probably going to want to pick this up, even if you did already purchase this car. So let's take a closer look at the paint scheme and some of the details that Lionel has chosen to include. Drink up. You know, I haven't drank Aquafina water in a fairly long time. Like I made the 90s rapper joke about Kasey Kahne there, but I honestly think that I haven't drank Aquafina water since the 90s. It's usually like Dasani. I think Aquafina is it would be the Pepsi, wouldn't it? It's the Pepsi water, because Dasani is the Coke water. Yeah, that's right. Coke and Pepsi own water brands. Fun fact for those of you not in the know. I think this is a really cool scheme. Really, really cool. And I think it was cool that it ran at Pocono. I actually got to visit Pocono last year, and I'm planning to do it again. I went to the IndyCar race at Pocono, so that was a good time. Interesting track, Pocono. I love seeing a unique super speedway, and certainly Pocono is a unique super speedway. So let's take a look at the next car in the wave. I'm sensing a bit of a trend in Lionel's NASCAR Authentics. Again, we have a wave with two Darlington throwback schemes. This is the Jimmie Johnson Lowe's throwback Darlington car. The question I have is this actually a throwback to a specific like racing car, or is it just like a throwback to Lowe's? I have a feeling it's a sponsor throwback and not a race car throwback. So let's take this car out of its box. I'm ready to get the throwbacks back on. I'm really feeling hopeful, by the way, that we will end up getting a fairly complete set of these Darlington throwback cars. There's a question of a couple cars. We'll see how that works out. But we've got another Darlington car to take a look at, and let's go in for a close-up. So, the Jimmie Johnson Darlington throwback. This car has a bit of a flat finish. I didn't expect that, actually. But it's fairly interesting. I kind of do, actually, once I've gotten this car out of its box, I kind of think more highly of the scheme than I did when it was just sitting in the package. I actually kind of like it. It's kind of got a simplistic way to it that's actually pretty charming. Kind of reminds me of like a 60s or 70s NASCAR. And I think that's kind of the point. But at the same time, I definitely feel that this is a pretty good throwback scheme. Certainly better than the Tony Stewart Bass Pro Shops throwback, quote unquote, or the Danica, really not a throwback at all car. That was probably the worst throwback. And it's probably a car we're getting in the next wave of Lionel NASCAR Authentics, so I can't wait to rant and rave about that when I get the opportunity. So let's take a look quickly at the magnet. You get standard magnet, standard Darlington Raceway. Looks fairly good. I would say probably will look good on your fridge. So let's take a closer look at this car and some of the details that I find interesting. Let's see, something very small there. It says something tune, it looks like. I'm not sure what that says. Maybe you guys let me know in the comments instead of me just staring at it. Cool to see the old Valvoline logo. We got quite a few race winners stickers on there. Really like that old Valvoline logo. I hope we get the Valvoline Dale Jr. throwback. I mean, it would make sense, wouldn't it? I mean, they almost have to put it. It's almost an obligation that that car is going to be in NASCAR Authentics at some point. It's just a matter of time, I believe. Oh, wow. Wow, throwback 3M, it looks like. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's cool to see some of the details on this car. And you've got save every day at Lowe's. Thousands do, you should too. Yeah, oh yeah, this is definitely a throwback to old Lowe's, because that's a very 70s, like way of advertising your company. People wouldn't do it now. They'd be like, it'd have to be like, you have to have like a rapper or like Taylor Swift or something and shilling your product. Be like, go to Lowe's, yeah, or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, pretty cool throwback. Definitely going to be one that the Johnson fans are going to be looking for. And if you are trying to complete a set of the Lionel NASCAR Authentics throwbacks, this is definitely one you need to be picking up. And continuing the theme, let's go on to the next car on the wave. So yeah, this was a throwback scheme a lot of folks were into and a lot of folks were very excited about. This is the Haas CNC, and yes, I see a logo there that we will get into. But yes, the Haas CNC throwback number 41 for Kurt Busch, the Stewart Haas car. I'd say this is probably the best Stewart Haas throwback. Throwing it back to the days of when Jason Leffler and Mike Bliss and all them drove the Haas car. And yeah, so definitely one that a lot of people are going to be looking to pick up if you didn't have it already, or again, like are trying to complete a set of Darlington throwbacks. Take that magnet out and let's take a look at this Darlington throwback for Kurt Busch. Ah yes, the Haas CNC throwback scheme. Definitely very, very nice looking diecast here. And I don't have to point it out to you. You probably have already typed the comment. But yes, this car has monster logos plastered all over it, and it's glorious. We live in an era where even the 124 scale Monster Energy cars are ending up on bases for reasons I have no idea why. But whatever, this car is not on a base. It has monster logos on it, and I couldn't not be happier. It's awesome. I love the accuracy. you know, here's the thing. Like, if you're gonna like try to censor a product from kids, you probably shouldn't allow it on the track to begin with, because NASCAR has a pretty big kid following. But yeah, whatever. You know, that's a rant for another day. That again I've already made in the Keselowski review. But yeah, really cool looking car. Very, very nice scheme. Very clean. Very nice. I'm glad we got this one early on in the NASCAR Authentics. I'd say it's probably one of the better throwbacks we've gotten, scheme-wise, from Lionel. So let's take a quick look at the magnet. Definitely a good magnet. I think it's one of my favorite magnets. I think the color scheme looks fairly good. And again, it'll look good with all of your Darlington throwback stuff. Definitely liking how this is going, with them producing all of the Darlington throwbacks, it seems, even though I think they're going to have some problems making the Larson. So every throwback scheme except for Larson, maybe? That would be pretty cool. Hopefully we get some of the canceled ones, particularly Logano, Menard, and Bane. Those are the three that I actually wanted to buy, and none of them got produced. So, you know, Lionel, if you're listening, produce those, please. I would definitely really appreciate it. But yeah, the decals are clean. A really clean looking car. I like this one quite a bit. It's definitely a car that's not a very long ago throwback. This is probably about 10 years ago when they were still running this scheme. But definitely a throwback that is throwing it back to the era of NASCAR that I grew up in. So yeah, it's really cool to see the Haas CNC scheme back on the track, and it's definitely cool to see it as a throwback in the Lionel NASCAR Authentics. So let's take a quick look at all of the throwback cars together, and then we'll move on to the next car in the wave. And for those of you keeping score at home, this is what your Darlington NASCAR Authentics collection should look like so far. Alright, so now we get into the really exciting part of the review. We're taking a look at two cars. This one is the first one, that have not been produced at all in the 1/64 scale from Lionel. And this is the Martin Truex Jr. Exalto We Paint Winners 400 winner at Pocono Raceway. Like I said, it's kind of technically the Pocono wave, because we've got two cars that participated in the Pocono race, and this is the car that won it. Some people have been wondering if this car has a blown out rear tire. We're going to find out. Oh, it's so dramatic. Oh, it's so dramatic, except for you probably already saw. Okay, so there's the card. It does come with a card, as the race winner cars have seeming to been coming with. No blown out rear tire, but ooh, there's a lot of detail in this car. A lot of detail. We will be taking a look at this one very closely. So yes, here we go, the raced version of the Denver Matress Furniture Row Racing car that won at Pocono. Quickly, as we go around the car, notice any details. In fact, it's interesting, the Spin Master release didn't have this little logo down here. We'll take a look at that, since there was some debate in the comments as to exactly what sponsor that was, so we will have the answer for you there. Yeah. And yeah, here's the big part here, the big raced part. Even though we did not get a blown out tire, we did get what appears to be a fairly blown out side there. Very cool detail, very, very cool. I can't not wait to take a closer look at that. Looks like we got some stuff on the grill here, possibly grill tape. We'll again take a closer look at it. They definitely got the numbers a little bit more fluorescent than NASCAR Authentics did. NASCAR Authentics kind of went with a flat red. They definitely went with more day-glow orange here for Martin Truex. Let's take a look at the card here. That's the front. The back is where the interesting stuff is. June 7th, 2015, the time of the race, almost 3 hours to run a 400-mile race. Start position, the total laps, number of cautions, number of leaders. Laps led was 97. His margin of victory was 1.3 seconds, and it was his third NASCAR Sprint Cup Series win. So yes, Martin Truex Jr. did make it to the chase this year, and this was probably easy for me to say, the win that got him here. There's not a lot of confetti, if any, on this car. There may be just one on the roof there. Well, let's take a close look at the bumper here. I think, yeah, it's definitely, I'm 99% positive that's grill tape. It's cool to see. Look at the 78 on the front there. This is faded out from running a 400-mile race and having 400 miles of grime and dirt getting on there. Go around to this side of the car, which is usually the clean side, unless they've had contact, because usually on an oval. I can't tell if that's I think that's a paint chip. I think it's a paint chip. I can't tell. There's definitely hair on it, which is weird. Yeah, oh yeah, well, let's take a look at the sponsor. Wow, it's tiny. I still can't read it. Yeah, that's a thing. We got the little race winner sticker there. Got a little green thing on there, as well as I think a piece of confetti or a piece of tape or something. And we'll go around to the back of the car. Not a whole lot to write home about there. And boom! The big old part of it, where we have the where he did the burnout, I'm assuming, and blew out a tire, and it blew out all of that side of the car. I know a lot of people were speculating whether or not we get a blown out tire. We did not, but that's for you custom folks to do, right? Let's take a look down the rest of the car. Not a whole lot else to go over on this car, but it's definitely cool to get a brand new, never before released car in the NASCAR Authentics. This is where the line is doing its best job, in my opinion. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even notice that. The Goodyear logo has a bit of scraping or rubber on it. But yeah, very, very cool. Very big props to Lionel for getting this done. And they didn't stop there, because they got 2 brand new cars into this wave, and we'll take a look at that one right now. So another of the big time shockers in this wave was the Kevin Harvick number 4 of Jimmy John's race winner from the Cobalt 400 at Las Vegas. Yeah, crazy, huh? It's crazy that we got 2 brand new, like, never before released cars in the NASCAR Authentics Wave 3. Crazy. So let's not dilly-dally around. Let's take a look at it. And there's your trading card, your race winner's trading card, and the Happy Harvick car. I cannot wait to take a closer look at this one. So I believe this is also the first time we've gotten a Kevin Harvick included in the NASCAR Authentics from Lionel. So I would say it's definitely a good start from them producing Kevin Harvick diecast. This is, again, like I said, very unexpected, but very welcome. But I will touch on something that I'm kind of not understanding about race winners card. Wow, look at that detail. Woohoo! That's see, that's worthwhile. I love the cars that they've got, worthwhile damage on them. That's awesome. That's awesome. Even though that you don't have any blown out tires, again, we're looking at this from the perspective of it is supposed to be a toy. While collectors can collect these, you want to be able to have the kids be able to roll them around and play with them. Even though I think some kids would really actually prefer the car to be blown up or have issues, because then they could have wrecks for their stop motions on Instagram. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at the card we got with Kevin Harvick. You can see the front of the card, not too much to write home about. The time of the race, the start position, he came up from 18th position, number of cautions, number of leaders, all the good stuff, and it's 29th NASCAR Sprint Cup Series win. So, a closer look at the detail is an absolute key to one of these reviews of a raced version. Got some confetti on the front, and yeah, that is something I'm going to touch on as we look at all the confetti detail. I'm not sure why race versions need the confetti on them. I do understand why, but at the same time, I kind of do wish they looked like they did before they got in victory lane. I think some people would prefer that they didn't, because it's they actually look like they're raced and not like victory circle editions. They should perhaps change the name from raced versions to winner circle editions or something like that. But yeah, a lot of cool detail. Definitely interesting to see all the burnout marks and everything. Got some serious grime here on the back of the car. And then we go on to this side of the car, and that's used up. That's the used up side of the car there. That's a lot of rubber buildup. This is really, really cool. I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite releases of the NASCAR Authentics to date, from Lionel anyway. Just a really excellent release, very, very detailed. And like I said, the only way you're getting it is going down to your local Target or your local Walmart or whatever, and purchasing this from the shelf, because it ain't in your regular Lionel line, which is really cool. I'm glad that Lionel is treating the NASCAR Authentics seriously, as a serious outlet to get new and interesting cars to the retail market. So let's take a look at the whole wave, and I will give some final thoughts. So, what did you guys think of Wave 3 of the Lionel NASCAR Authentics? I definitely think it was a fairly good wave. I like the fact that we've gotten the Darlington throwbacks, and I definitely like the fact that we got brand new, never before seen cars. Couple complaints though. Too many Chevys and not enough 2016s. You know, I'm hoping that by Wave 4 we start branching out a little bit, getting some Toyotas in there, getting some 2016 schemes. It's going to get pretty repetitive if we keep getting 2015 schemes, but again, I'm not going to, you know, this is right now constructive. It's not being like we need to get on with the 2016 cars, but I think I have some trust in Lionel at this moment. They have not done anything to betray that trust at the moment. Maybe the haulers. We'll get to those. But until then, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of the wave. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And look for more NASCAR content coming, hopefully this weekend, because of the Daytona 500. And I'm doing some more stuff in NASCAR 15. It's taking me forever to film it because going online is incredibly tough in NASCAR 15 because there's almost nobody playing it. That's coming, and hopefully another NASCAR Authentics review this weekend, possibly. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you in the next video.